Well, Linda, police are still on the hunt for the man who killed this woman. I'm at the corner of Pettit and Reed on the city's south side. This is where the woman was shot this morning. I'm told by police there were several witnesses, including many children who were waiting nearby for their school bus. It was around 8 a.m. when police got to the scene here. Fort Wayne police say the gunman and the victim were together on a CityLink bus. When it stopped at this intersection, he pulled her off the bus and shot her on the sidewalk. Witnesses tell police after he shot the woman, he took off running. Police are following all the leads from the tips they've been receiving this morning. They've even been using canine units in an attempt to try and track the gunman. Now, although he remains at large this afternoon, police believe they have a good idea of who they're looking for.
There obviously is some relationship between the perpetrator and the victim if they were sitting together on the bus. So we do have a good idea of who we're looking for.
Yeah, several, Stephanie, locations in this search in that area for the suspect. Do police think the gunman is still armed?
There was no gun found at the scene, Linda, so they do believe he's still armed and dangerous. However, they don't believe he's a threat to the public, so because of that, they aren't giving a description of who he is. Because again, like Raquel said, they have a good idea of who they're looking for.
Do officers think the woman was targeted in this?
They do.
Yeah.
They do think that she was targeted, the victim in this case, which is again why they really don't think he's a threat to the general public, Linda.
Really just terrible, this violence, and to have witnessed that this morning, especially as a young person. All right. If you have any updates from the scene there, Stephanie, do let us know during this newscast, will you?
Will do.
All right. Thanks for your live report. Well, yes.
Covering the story for us. Stephanie, what's the latest out there? Has that hostage been released?
Melissa, the hostage has been released, but the most important thing here is that police did find the murder suspect inside this home, and that murder suspect, 45-year-old Kenneth Knight, is now dead. That man, we just learned from Police Chief Rusty York, Fort Wayne Police Chief Rusty York told us that he was shot by a sniper that was stationed across the street from the home. We're here on the 3000 block of Holton Avenue in Fort Wayne, and it was at this house where he was holding a 3-year-old toddler hostage inside that home. We do know that the 3-year-old is safe and he has been returned to his family. Police did confirm that with us just really a few minutes ago. We know that no one else was inside the home. This all stems from a shooting that happened earlier this morning around 8 a.m. at Pettit and Reed. That's where 49-year-old Jackie Hardy was shot after getting off of a CityLink bus at the bus stop at that location, at that intersection. And we do know that police have told us that Jackie and Kenneth had a relationship. They did know each other, so police believe that she was targeted in that shooting earlier today. And they have really been looking for him since 8 o'clock this morning. They've been canvassing across the city at different locations. We've been here since the early afternoon, around 1 p.m. Now, I did talk with Jackie's brother earlier today, and he told me that she has 3 children, 2 teenage girls and 1 adult son, and says that they were very close.
Jackie, that was my buddy. She came by, I just seen her Monday. We was gonna go skating Thursday because she loved to skate. I was gonna take her skating Thursday evening.
Stephanie, do we know of any connection between this Mr. Knight and the house or the toddler that he, holed up in today?
That's a great question, Melissa. The toddler did not know Mr. Knight very well. We know that there were acquaintances, adult acquaintances inside the home that fled from that home once Mr. Knight got there. And so I was told by Police Chief Rusty York that the toddler did not really know Mr. Knight, but the adults that were in the home earlier with the toddler were acquaintances of Mr. Knight's.
Do we know if the suspect was shot while he was holding the toddler?
We don't know how close they were to one another, but Police Chief Rusty York told us that they were instructed, the snipers were instructed, once they had a clear shot of Mr. Knight, to take that shot. Once it was clear and safe, and I know that the toddler was not physically hurt, so we do know that the toddler is okay, and again, he has been returned to his family.
All right, very busy and tense afternoon in that area of Fort Wayne, and yet another shooting to report to all of you tonight. Thanks for your work, Stephanie, on this. Stephanie Parkinson has been covering the story all day. She joins us now live from the 3000 block of Holton Avenue. And Stephanie, we understand it turned into a hostage situation before this suspect was killed.
But now 45-year-old Kenneth Knight is dead, and the 3-year-old toddler who was being held hostage is okay. Police tell me that he wasn't physically harmed. Now, Knight was shot and killed around 4:30 this afternoon by a sniper who was stationed across the street from the home on the 3000 block of Holton Avenue. Knight was wanted by Fort Wayne police for the murder of 49-year-old Jackie Hardy. Jackie was shot and killed at the intersection of Pettit and Reed just before 8 a.m. today. Witnesses told police he pulled her off a CityLink bus, shot her, then left. Police say several witnesses were there, including young children who were waiting for their school bus. The witnesses eventually led police to Holton Avenue, where the manhunt for Knight ended. I spoke with Jackie's brother. He describes her as a fun-loving and free-spirited person.
It's just terrible. It doesn't make any sense. That's somebody's mom, that's somebody's sister, that's somebody's friend that they took away from here.
Stephanie, police said earlier today that Jackie was targeted. Did she know Knight?
She did, and police told me that Jackie had a restraining order out on Knight. We also know that Knight was recently released from prison. Melissa, Police Chief Rusty York describes this as a domestic dispute turned deadly. Now, along with her brother, Jackie leaves behind 3 children, 2 teenage daughters and an adult son.
Was the 3-year-old child that was in that house with Knight, was he known to Knight? He or she?
Pardon?
He or she, I said. We don't know the...
It was a young boy, yes.
Okay. Did Knight know him? What connection did they have?
Police tell me that the toddler didn't know Knight, at least not very well. There were some adults inside the home when Knight first arrived there. They ran out of the house and the little toddler was left inside. And we do know that those adults that ran out of the home were acquaintances of Knight's, but police don't believe that there was any relationship between that toddler and Knight.
All right, well, we're glad the toddler is safe tonight and that there wasn't anyone else hurt in this entire situation today. Thank you, Stephanie.